You're listening to Meet Katie on Lowering the Tone.
Hello and welcome to episode 25 of Lowering the Tone with me, Meet Katie. This episode I've got an old friend of mine, Phil Klein, aka Bass Junkie, Battle Trax head honcho, an all-round nice guy. I caught up with him at his home on an absolutely blistering summer day here in the UK. We had a good hour and a half chat. We discussed everything from old school hip hop to the death of vinyl and to Donald Trump. Anyway, that's at the back end of the show, as always. Before then, I've got some blistering techno and the deeper selection. Right, let's get on with it.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All work and no play. 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 All working, no play. Work, working, no play. Working, work, working, no play. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All work and no play. 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 Work. Working. No play. Work.
few shouts to give. Cade Burns, Mandy Rabbits, or Rabbets, however you pronounce it. Tony Ramirez, hello mate. David Date, John Clapton, Dan McKay, Max Edwards, Ben Smith, Fox One, and Cuba Flowers. Thank you, all you guys have dedicated something on Patreon, really, really appreciated. If you want a track listing to this show, go to patreon.com/lowering the tone. It's the only place that you can get a track listing, so head off over there. Right, onwards and upwards.
Process. Process. Process.
Right, many thanks to all that made it out to the Emotion Festival in Manitoba, Canada, a couple of weeks back. I'd like to give the whole crew a personal shout, but there's so many of you. You all know who you are. You made me feel incredibly welcome, and your hospitality, I mean, was second to none. I see they're going to be doing another event in 2019. If you're in Canada, I can't recommend this festival highly enough. Okay, let's keep going.
All I wanna do is be alone and sometimes I can't even stand the thought of being alone. Mercurial like weather, better keep an umbrella 'cause sometimes all I wanna do is be alone.
Chicago Loop on Lowering the Tone with Meet Katie.
I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to drop it down for the next 40 minutes. We're bringing back the deep selection. Remember, it's not exactly a promo mix, it's just a load of tracks that I like that are a tad deeper than what I normally get to play.
This is Catherine Ellis, and I am delighted that you are lowering the tone with Meet Katie.
is Arcana. You're listening to Lowering the Tone with Meet Katie.
When you close your eyes to the world, when you are in a deep meditative mood, blissful, ecstatic, the body is not there. You have become aware of the inner tree of life, and it is going higher and higher, and you feel that you can fly.
gigs to plug this weekend, the 25th of August. You can catch me in the Czech Republic playing at the Rock for Churchill Festival. Bizarrely named event. Apparently it's good. This bank holiday Monday, you can catch me here in the UK at Notting Hill Carnival. I'll be playing on the ever popular Pineapple Tribe sound system. Right, let's get back into the deep stuff.
Josie Touch, and you're listening to Meet Katie on Lowering the Tone.
another couple of shouts. Massive congratulations to Mr. Matt Pook and DJ Lola on the birth of their twins Isaac and Isla. And on the subject of babies, it's worth mentioning Phil Klein, bass junkie, who I interview at the back end of this show. Him and his wife Sarah have had a baby called Oscar. At the beginning of the interview, you hear Phil talking about it. They're nesting their new home. Well done, guys. Like the music you're listening to and want a track listing, head off to patreon.com/lowering the tone. Got a few more Patreon members to give a shout to: Roger Hogado, Craig Healy, Robert Al Duque, or Duke should I say, Lauren Gallagher and Graham O'Reilly. Right, you're listening to me, Meet Katie, and this is Lowering the Tone. I'm going to get all acid on you. Few more shouts. I know that there's been loads this episode and I do apologise. There is a lot of people to name check. So Catherine Ryan, Catherine Allen, Quirky Junkie, and my girl out there in Hong Kong, Teresa Lam. Right, it's the last track. you enjoyed that. You can catch up on all the backdated episodes at loweringetone.london. Right, let's get into the interview with Phil.
Exclusive.
This episode of Lowering the Tone, I've hooked up with an old friend of mine, Phil Klein, aka Bass Junkie. We're doing this interview in your dining room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty warm today, isn't it?
It is very warm. It's not as warm as it has been, though, thankfully. I think we'd be cooking otherwise.
Yeah, no, I'd be frying, especially not having any hair. But how are you going, Phil?
I'm good. I'm really good, thanks, mate. Yeah, and yourself?
I'm all right.
Good to hear.
Yeah, nice place you got here.
I know. I can't believe I've got it, actually. It's a little bit... I'm still getting used to the fact that I'm living in a nice big house like this.
It's lovely. It's kind of a place I want when I grow up.
It is kind of a very grown-up's house, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. I've come from a little flat into this. I mean, it's all mortgage, Mark, but I mean, I've got to pay that mortgage off. But
the bank own it.
Yeah, basically, the bank own it. But I've got another kid on the way, like I said, in about 2 weeks' time. So. Right. And with the other one running around, we needed more space. So, ended up here and, loving it, I've got to say.
Nesting.
Yeah, definitely nesting, yeah.
Because I walked in and I thought, Jesus, Electro's doing all right.
I wish it was doing this well. It would be lovely if Electro could pay for this, but unfortunately, it doesn't really work that way.
All right, so let's get to the... Well, instead of us trying to do a history, what we'll do is we'll just do a little recap. First of all, there's going to be a lot of people out there that will be confused because Electro House now gets abbreviated to Electro, and it's not Electro.
No, it's not.
So, I personally, as I mentioned to you, I would consider you like authentic
Thank
Electro.
You. Yeah, I would hope that people would see that.
How would you explain? How would you describe your sound?
What, my music? Depending on what sort of style I'm doing. I mean, it's pretty much always Electro. At least it's either purist electro funk, electro bass, Miami bass sometimes, techno electro, or electro techno, whichever way you want to say it. I do some other genres, but it's always it's got the influence. It's always got,
but not electro house.
God no, never. I would never lower myself to that. It's never going to happen ever. No, I've done acid house. That's as far as the house tip I've done. Yeah, I like acid house. I mean, I used to like house. I mean, when a house was breaking through originally in the mid '80s, I was into it for a bit. I wasn't so sure about the 4 to the floor sort of thing. Right. I always liked the more sort of funkier electro beats myself, and I preferred the 808 to
more
the 909.
More sort of broken.
Yeah, more kick drums. You know, a little bit more inspired. Let's put it that way. I would say, but I was into it. I was playing it back in those days, but I soon went back to my roots. Yeah,
sort of drum, sort of machine head. You're a kind of machine head, aren't you?
Yeah, I really like the old gear. I mean, it's not that I'm a purist in how you make the music, as long as it sounds great. But I love that sound. It was that early 80s sound that really captured my imagination, listening to things like Nucleus and
Planet Rock.
Yeah, anything from that era. That's
Mantronics,
of course, Man Parish.
Yeah, Man Parish.
Yeah, Twilight 22, Cybertron, World Class Wrecking Crew, obviously, with Dr. Dre's original starting point.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And people forget that, don't they?
Yeah, they do, yeah. I mean, that first album, World Class, I think that's the first album I bought from Groove Records, definitely. Maybe not the first record I bought there. I think I first went there in '84, but that was on heavy rotation while I was a kid. That would be playing while I was playing video games on my Spectrum. World Class Wrecking Crew. Yeah, so old I am. We're in the same boat in that one.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit older than you.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm 46.
I'm 48. Well, I'm 48 next month. Yeah.
No shit. I always thought you were younger than me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought we were the same age. There you go.
All right. You just cheered me up tonight.
Yeah, there you go. No, I mean, I remember listening to that stuff and obviously the Nucleus album, Jam on Revenge.
Yeah.
Those two albums and all the Electro Street Sounds compilations were I just religiously listened to that over and over again in my bedroom, like playing computer games. I just had it all the time. Mum's car, taking it to school, listening to it on my Walkman. I just lived and breathed that stuff. That was all I was interested in for many years. Well, ever since, really.
Right.
But that's how it started for me.
That's mad,
Street Sounds really started.
Street Sounds,
Yeah. Street Sound started it for
Morgan
me. Morgan Khan.
Morgan
yeah.
Khan. That's it.
Yeah.
So I remember his name popped up a little while ago, and I was trying to work.
It pops up now and then.
Yeah, but I mean, he was the guy that brought Street Sounds out, and it was.
Yeah, I mean, no, you got to hand it to that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to hand it to him. I mean, somebody else would have done it, but I mean, he did it.
Bringing the collection.
He brought it affordable for kids to buy, and he did the whole series. It ran for a long time. I mean, there was 3 crucial Electros. Was there 16 or 17 of the Electros? Yeah. And then there was the New York versus LA Beats and a few other ones here and there dotted about. I mean, there's at least 20 albums on that tip. And yeah, it was a really good run, and it was great. And that's what introduced me originally. And from that point, I was hooked. And I always loved that sound.
The early days of hip hop, weren't it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, I love hip hop too. I mean, I'm a real 80s hip hop person more than anything.
Right.
I kind of drifted out of it probably around 1990, and I sort of devoted more of my time to just seeking out electro and Miami bass, which was so hard to find in the UK. It had to be dedicated to it, and I seriously was. So I kind of dropped off. I was more into the electronic beats, good scratching, vocoders, anything like that. I love that.
I remember because the audience won't know this, but me and Phil go back from our childhood.
Yeah, definitely.
But I remember you used to scratch. I remember when you were DJing, you could be one of the only people out of our crew that could scratch.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, when I first met a lot of people, like Cy Brown, Dexicist, and people like that. Yeah, they were kind of like, wow, the guy's scratching. But I'll tell you, actually, you know Alex Hazard, don't you?
Oh, well, recently, yes, I know him ages ago, but recently we've reconnected just by a Facebook post, funny enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's Alex that basically taught me, indirectly originally, but he, do you know Stuart Wilson? He was my old friend. He knew Alex Hazard very well.
Right.
I formed a DJ little collective with Stuart. We bought some gear. Called ourselves Bass Station Crew. That was about 86.
Oh, wow.
And we hooked up with Alex because Alex had some gear as well. And Alex could scratch. And Alex was an amazing DJ, still is. And I don't think he plays out that much now. But
he said he's moved back to the UK, to Bristol.
Yeah, he's got like a bistro or some bar or something.
Yeah, we've been chatting recently.
Yeah.
And only very briefly... it was just it turns out we got a mutual friend,
right? I thought you might have known him. I really did. Maybe from like
I do know him from King Size,
right?
But I mean I don't know him as well as you would imagine. I know him just a little bit through music,
right? I thought maybe you would have met him. Did you ever go to the roller skating in Walton back in the day?
He
was always there. I think that's how Stuart met him, and that's how I got introduced. Because I used to do some scratching there as well.
Disco.
Yeah, the roller disco.
I used to go
because I used to scratch up there as well with the guy. I can't remember his name now, but he was going out with Stuart's sister. This is the connection. And so I could scratch because Stuart had shown me on a little hi-fi. I was using the volume as a fader and just using our own decks. That's how we started out. Then we bought some 1210s when they first came out. Got a little set up and started doing little gigs around the place. And Alex had some connections. He was doing house parties. I think he knew an estate agent that knew what properties were empty.
Oh, wow.
And we would go around London, there's certain parts of London, like Hayes and that sort of area, I seem to remember, and do parties sometimes.
In these empty properties?
These empty properties, yeah, just for a house party. And we just set up there and play through the night, and then everyone turf out. And it was just it was kind of like a mini warehouse gig, I suppose.
Things have changed.
Little 4-bedroom house, yeah. But that's how I started getting into doing like little gigs, because obviously me and Stuart bought the decent gear. I think it was a little bit better than Alex had at the time, but he had some really good lights and amps and things like that to go with it. And we just all clubbed together and would just throw on these little parties. Not masses of them, but that's how I got into it.
Right. So it's kind of
playing out.
I mean, moving on from there is one of reasons we got to know each other better was through the free party scene.
Yeah, from the Fear Teachers
thing.
Teachers, yeah, early 90s, 91, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, the Fear Teachers made up with a bunch of people that kind of went on to, people like Dexicist, Simon Brown and Keith Tenniswood.
Yeah, Keith wasn't really part of the Fear Teachers, but he was always there.
But he was there, weren't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And it's funny because I met up with a breaks producer called PMT,
right?
And his name's Will Brunner, and he come from the same area. We used to hang out back at these free parties.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah,
Bill.
Yeah, Bill. Yeah. Billy.
He used to live in Walton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, doing stuff, is he?
And he started his own he moved to South Africa and started knocking out some breaks under the name PMT. And I remember just looking him up thinking, I love this guy's music. It turns out I know him really well.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's a funny fact then, because he recorded his first ever record in my studio.
No way.
In Woking, yeah. And you know what? I can't remember what it was called, but he did a 12-inch and he brought it out on a label. I think something was funded by a shop in Guildford at the time. So this would have been very early 90s.
Right.
And
yeah.
I think I might even have a copy of it, because I think he gave me a copy of it. And I seem to remember he was using my 303 on it, and I think he reprogrammed it, and it played the bass line of We Come to Rock by Imperial Brothers, which is Hashim. And I think he'd done that on the 303.
Oh,
I've got a
wicked.
thing, I can't remember what it's called, something like Inter something dimensional space something.
I'll
Don't quote me on
find
that,
out,
but yeah, that's Bill Brunner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
because
mad.
a lot of people that listen to this show would know stuff through the breaks. But yeah, PMT's gone on to
That's
do
him.
some
I
good
didn't
stuff.
even know he was even doing anything.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, he was making some wicked breakbeat.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, sort of more progressive sort of stuff, but quality.
Excellent.
So,
Well, there you go.
oof, there we go. So, talking of like hookups and stuff, collaborations. It's probably worth mentioning. You've done a fair few collaborations.
Yeah, especially in the last, I'd say 9-10 years. Yeah, because I kind of dropped off doing my own stuff in the last 9-10 years. I kind of really got fed up working solo and just putting out bass junkie stuff. I kind of felt I'd reached a point where I don't really know what I'm going to do at the moment, but I was really enjoying working with other people. So yeah, I sort of went down that route. Always worked with Dex Assist. Yeah, Sai. We got 3 little projects on the go with each other.
Sorry to interrupt you. Was the stuff that because he owns Control Tower.
Yeah, him and Keith.
Right.
Keith Tenniswood, yeah. That's their label. It's now defunct. I don't know if they're going to bring it back or not. They might do. I mean, yeah, it could be the time to do it. But then so many people have little labels going on now, and it's kind of nice to let other people deal with all the
it's a lot of
the
hassle.
aggro. Yeah, it is a lot of hassle. It's a lot of hassle, and yes, I don't really have the time.
So, you just sort of split the releases, or was it all through Battle Trax?
Well, my stuff, Battle Trax, me and Sai would just do all the Kronos device stuff for Battle Trax, and Gods of Technology, another one we did. Oh, and actually, and Basing Guild is another thing we do. The Basing Guild is like a more Miami bass sort of style, and it tends to be remixes as well, a lot of the time, of classic Miami bass stuff that we love. But the other stuff, yeah, it's pretty much always come out on Battle Trax. But the Control Tower stuff, that was Sai and Keith's baby, really. I did do a release on there for them. I think I did about 7 or 8, maybe even more. I think there was some that didn't come out. They were doing stuff for I can't remember his name now. What's the guy who did Bring Forth the Guillotine?
Silver Bullet?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he did an album with him.
No
Keith
way.
produced an album with him. It never came out. I don't know, for some reason it all he had cold feet on it, and it all just sat there on the shelf. But there was a 12-inch. There was a 10-inch, I think, called 7 Deadly Sins or something like that. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a Dex Assist remix and stuff. Yeah, that came out, I think, and then there was meant to be a tour, and then he just decided he wasn't up for it.
Right.
And that's just got shelved.
That's a shame.
That was the last.
I mean, that on
Tower.
paper, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you should talk to Keith.
I will,
I'm sure Keith's got
yeah.
the DATs somewhere. He must have. Yeah.
I'll see if I can track that down.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I was a big Silver Bullet fan as well.
Yeah,
from back in the
I
day.
always remember the first one. I love that. I
Was it
was
20
gutted.
Seconds to Comply?
Yeah, because I was gutted because I had a track I'd finished using that same sample from
RoboCop.
Yeah, and I had the whole thing at the end. It was like because at the time I was using a friend's studio next door where I lived. This would have been like 88, 89. And I was doing stuff like on the Miami bass Dynamics 2 tip, also like the Unknown DJ X-Men project, which was various sort of sampled tracks made into a track, and it was one of those sort of things, and it had that at the end, the whole 20 Seconds to Comply, the counting down, and then the guns going off. I ripped the whole thing, basically.
Brilliant.
But it never came out. I've got it on 1/4-inch tape somewhere, but it's all a bit ruined. But I need to dig that out. I think my sister's got it. But one of those things I sort of threw out with my sister salvage. She's good like that.
Right.
Yeah. But they did a whole album. Yeah, and it never came out, which is sad.
Oh,
really.
It's a shame. I might have words.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
locate some of that.
I mean, Keith.
Yeah. So there was another one that you mentioned, which you sent me a load of tracks, and I mean, you sent me a lot of
I know,
tracks.
yeah. I kind of sent you the whole Battle Trax package. And then it was like, oh, I better send you the latest Bass Junkie stuff. And I was like, oh, actually, and then there's all this other stuff.
Well, I mean, we'll get onto the new Bass Junkie stuff in a bit, but going back over your back catalogue, I mean, because there's a tempo issue well, not an issue, it's just that I play a lot slower tempo to what you make tracks.
Yeah.
The ones that jumped out at me that I can play that fit straight into tempo-wise was the Middlemen.
Yeah, and that's with Jim Nean, who also you go way back with as well.
Yeah, well, I know Jim as well, but very impressed.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
it's electro. It's just not as gnarly.
Yeah,
but it's still pumping.
Yeah, it's a little bit more on the Detroit tip as well.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good.
Yeah. Jim's loves the Detroit sound. I mean, I do too, obviously. But we sort of, when we decided to do stuff together, I mean, it wasn't initial, but as we've progressed, it's like let's make it a little bit more on the Detroit tip than the other stuff I was doing with other people, you know. So that's kind of how that happened.
I would 100%. I mean, now you've said it, I mean, I can actually hear a sort of like the kind of like the deeper underground resistance type sounds.
It's got a bit more of that going on, because we both love that. And you know, and in fact I was with him on Sunday because he lives in Birmingham now, and I was down there for a gig, and we got a track started, and it's already sounding very Detroit. The beats are a little bit different, but the synth parts at what we've done so far is definitely on that Detroit tip.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We'll have to get that finished.
I look forward to hearing that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I mean, it just jumped out the package.
I'm glad you like that.
Yeah. It's more just because of the tempo, because obviously the super fast stuff.
Yeah, I do go quite fast sometimes. Yeah, like I said though, I'm mellowing in my old age, and I'm starting to bring it down a bit. Every time I start to write something now, I'm starting in the mid 120s. I might speed up a little bit, but I tend to find when you get used to that tempo, it's like, well, that's good. That's fast enough now.
Yeah,
I think I've noticed that a bit actually with Electro. I think it seems to be not going up into the 140s again as it had been. I mean, I was doing that a lot at one point.
Yeah, there's a lot of 136, 138.
I was pushing up to 146s and stuff like that. Yeah, with Simon, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah, with the Kronos device stuff, which is quite fierce at times, and that was going up there. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Do you know what? It's really interesting music, and I don't mean that in like it's interesting. It's interesting to see what you can do at such a fast tempo, because you're limited with how much space you got between the beats.
Yeah, it kind of gets kind of aggressive at that speed, and kind of that's what the Kronos device thing we were always going for. It was kind of hard edge. It was really what it was a continuation of what the project I did with Scott Weiser of Dynamics 2 back in the late 90s, the industrial bass machine thing, and we never really made anything after the album. We talked about it, we started a couple of things, and they never really went anywhere, and then it just sort of fizzled out. And I was like, I still had loads of those tracks in me, and Simon wanted to do music with me, so we decided that we'll try and continue with the similar theme and make it, that real raw electro
just keep the vibe going.
Sound, distorted kicks and really fast and furious and aggressive, robotic,
Yeah, and robotic's a good word.
And that's kind of what we did. That's the whole, the whole concept of it is on that level. Although, mind you, the last track we did was very political. Which is
How was it political?
Well, I was just getting angry, so I wrote all the lyrics, and it was all about the state of the world, and it was called Kill Switch. We even did a video for that one, actually. Funnily enough, I'll have to send you it.
Is that going to come out?
It's out, yeah. It's
out.
Right. Actually, probably on the package I sent you.
Oh,
it'll be there. Yeah, it came out. It came out on video probably a few years back, but we did the vinyl eventually. Got round to releasing it last year, I think, early last year. That was the latest Battle Trax release.
Okay.
But we did that. But that was me getting angry. Too much Facebook, probably. Yeah. Seeing everything just there. It is, yeah. But I was just fully addicted. But you see the world just. Anyway, I won't go into it. But so that was my venting song. That one.
So with like a. Because you release product, don't you? Like we were chatting before we started.
Yeah,
digital secondary rather than.
I mean, digital's great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great to have it. I mean, it's great for people who want it like that. For me, I like to have a physical product. I like to hold it in my hand. I like to know that it's there. It can't be wiped off my hard drive. It can't be lost in the ether. I like to just. You remember that excitement when you used to go to the record shop when you were younger, getting the train up to London and coming back and opening the imports, like rubbing them on your legs, so just taking the record out, reading what's written in the etch out and the little run out grooves and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I like the physical product. I like the artwork. I like just like the look
sleeve
of vinyl.
notes.
Yeah, everything. It's all part of the package for me. So I'm old school in that respect, and I like to have that. I mean, I don't mind having digital as well as vinyl, but I never intentionally release just digital only.
Right.
I don't go down. I mean, I have offers a lot from people. I want to put out your music. I say, yeah, do you do vinyl? I know it's just digital. I'm saying, look, I'm not being funny or anything, but I could just do that day in, day out myself.
Yeah.
Why would I give you the track to do digital when I could just do it myself and keep everything?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. If you're willing to put some money into getting it pressed up and put out, and give me some, and then do what you want and sell it like that, then I'm willing to work with you. But if you're not, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
And
if
I was just to do
looking at
digital,
it,
I could just do it myself day in, all the time. It's no problem. It's not much of an outlay, hardly any risk.
No.
But no, I like to release vinyl. So if people are doing that and they have a label and they like my music and they say, we'll press up this amount, I'm like, yeah, great, let's do it.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a nice way of looking at it.
Yeah, I just love it. I like to keep it. I'm a collector of that sort of thing. I love my records.
Yeah. There's something sort of said about being collectible that, like you say, is that you can build up a collection.
Yeah.
I recently interviewed a guy called Brent from Aquasky.
Right.
And he's converted his garage. It's wall-to-wall records.
Lovely.
And he had this little kind of fetish of collecting like original hip-hop 7 inches.
Yeah.
And he had this massive...
He's got loads of that, has he?
He's been hunting them down.
Yeah, there's a few people who do that.
You know?
That's a great thing to get into. I mean, I think I heard that interview. Was that the recent one?
Yes, the most recent
I did.
one.
I did. Yeah, I heard that.
And
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
he's just it means something to him, and it's similar with the digital thing. He comes from the vinyl era.
Yeah,
and he just views music of it's so disposable now.
That's the kind of thing I feel as well. The thing is as well, I mean, if you're from that era, you remember the excitement attached to going to the record shop and trying to find stuff and getting stuff, because it wasn't an infinite amount of it, like you can download till the cows come home. Yeah. It's just there. Yeah. It's available. Yeah. Records weren't. You go into the shop. If you were there too late on a day, you missed out. You didn't know someone who worked in the record shop to hold back certain things for you. You'd miss out. Yeah. And especially with the things I was listening to in the late 80s, when Electro sort of was dying off and Miami Bass was there, but a lot of it you wouldn't get it in the stores. You'd get a few copies would be dropped off by the distributor. Unless you knew someone, like I knew people at Groove, they knew what I liked, they would keep it back. But there was some of that, they're going to get 2 copies sometimes. So they spread them around the shops around London. You had to be lucky to get some of that stuff. And I was fortunate, but it's part of the whole thing about vinyl hunting. It's just exciting. And when you get something you've been looking for an age, or something on a label that you really, really like, or by an artist you really love, and suddenly it comes out. There was no, certain things in those days, you didn't know it was even coming out. It would just suddenly walk into a shop, there's a new one on that label I love. I wouldn't even have to listen to it. I just buy it. Yeah. Because it's on that label, I'm sure it's going to be good. I mean, sometimes that wasn't the case, but most times it would be. But then if you've collected most of the back catalogue, you want it anyway. Yeah, exactly. Because you kind of add to although I'm quite ruthless as well. I mean, I have a collection. It's not a massive collection now because I have turfed out over the years. I'm always still buying stuff, but I like to keep it my core. I haven't got room for, well, I suppose I have a bit more now, but I didn't have. So, I'd always try and turf out what I find is not really relevant to me anymore. Yeah, I wish I had. I need to do that. Yeah, have you got thousands still? I got rid of half my record collection. Yeah, and I could probably dwindle it down to. Yeah, I could probably half it again with stuff that I really love. Yeah. The only problem I've got is I sold my decks. Oh, have you? Yeah, so I can't listen to the white labels to see what they are, whether I need to get rid of them. You're going to have to read the run-out grooves then for the catalogue numbers. I keep meaning to go through them, but I need to borrow a deck. Yeah, well, there you go. Well, yeah, you're going to have to do it, I think. Well, Discogs is a great thing. I mean, since Discogs popped up, I put my whole collection on there, and I've been selling bits and pieces over the years, even stuff on my own label as well, so it's just trickling out here and there. Okay. Back catalogue just goes out all the time. It's a great way of getting rid of music, Yeah. And it's a great way of finding stuff as well that you missed out on, obviously.
Yeah, this is going to make you laugh. I brought some of my old albums off Discogs because I didn't have copies. No, I had to buy my own albums.
Did you never keep them?
I just don't know where they went. I moved a few times, and they're probably in somebody else's loft now.
Oh right. So, talking about people with records in lofts, I had a friend of mine live locally, and he had some stuff, and I kept telling him, I was like, we get drunk together. I say, just get them down, I'll sell them for you. I started selling them for him on Discogs, and he had some really good stuff in there, like really collectible, lots of Warp stuff, some Aphex Twin, cool. And there was a white label in there, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and the cat number, and I remember putting it into Discogs. I'd left it right at the back, the few white labels that he had. I thought, because they're a pain in the arse, you've got to find them and find out what it was. Turned out it was unreleased Aphex Twin Analog Bubble Bar 5.
Really?
With only 35 copies in existence. Sold it for $1,000 for him.
No.
Yeah. He's sitting up in his loft. He still, to this day, didn't know how he got it. Had no idea how it arrived, because it was only sent out with people who had ordered an Analog release through Reflex, and they had not pressed up enough, so they couldn't fulfill the order. They had to press some more, and they said in the meantime they gave him an extra prize, this unreleased Analog Bubble Bar 5. So I spoke to Grant about it. I said, look, I found this record, Grant. It says this on it, and it sounds like Aphex. And he goes, yeah, no, that's definitely an original. There's only like 30 odd of those. No, and that's it. And I stuck it on Discogs. I had people offering me stupid money, like taking the piss at one point. Held in there for him, and I think it went for $1,000. Either $1,000 or 1,200 quid.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah.
I might have to go through my records.
Let's see if you got one of those in there. But I wasn't that. I mean, I like some of Aphex Twin stuff. I mean, I'm a bit, not everything, but some of his stuff is genius. And that one, I was like, I can see why he didn't really put it out. It wasn't something that I immediately stood out to some of the other stuff, but which he does. But I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, obviously it commands a great price because it's so rare.
Yeah,
and him being back out again, putting albums out and 12s out again, hit at the right time. He went into his loft at the right time.
That's it.
I found out what it was. He was happy. I was happy. It was,
planets aligned.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with we started to touch on it a little bit on recording and releasing on other labels.
Yeah.
Control Tower being one of them, but also Electrics and Touch and Bass. I had to highlight because Billy Nasty and Andrew Parker. I mean, they're very cult figures within the scene. Really. How did that come about?
Just got contacted by Andrea contacted me. I seem to remember, this is so long ago now. She was starting the label and she wanted some of my music on there. She liked what I was doing, so just submitted some tracks, and she picked which ones she liked, and that came out. Similar with Billy, he was starting Electrics. I think I met him at the Dog Star in Brixton.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember how I got down there or how it happened, but I ended up down there and I met him there and chatting with him.
He used to do a night there,
yeah,
didn't he?
Yeah. And I came down there and he just said to send him some stuff, and I had a lot of stuff lying around, and because I did a double pack for him. So he picked quite a few bits and pieces, and that came out with him. Yeah, I should send him some more stuff because he's kind of revamped it again, hasn't he? It's back again. Yeah. I should. There's a lot of labels around again at the moment, and a lot of labels are pushing it quite a lot. And I need to
a resurgence.
Oh God, definitely. Yeah, it's nice to see actually.
Well, I've seen that. I kind of think that it's connected to. I think that with let's say like the techno scene. Obviously, I mean this techno scene worldwide is huge. Yeah. It's massive, and it's a bit more of a kind of lifestyle type scene. But people like, DJ Hell.
Yes, yeah.
They're kind of not just music icons. They're sort of fashion icons as well.
Yeah.
So when they start moving into a certain music, it sort of almost becomes trendy again.
Yeah.
And I feel that's kind
of what's
happening.
Is he doing that again as well? Is he?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I mean, Anthony Rothel was his engineer, I believe.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was engineering a lot of his stuff.
I never even knew that. Yeah.
So you can see
because Rother's back again doing electro.
And so you start seeing the connections being made. And,
I mean, it is definitely getting a lot of exposure again, which is great. I mean, I hope it spreads to more of the lesser known artists as well, than the people who've always been there a bit more at the forefront because of their status. But I'd like to see everyone getting a good chance.
Well, I noticed labels like Tronic and even even Drum Code are sort of messing about with sort of some electro beats.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, so I mean, Watronic in particular, I've bought a couple of stuff that I've been playing on the show. It's pretty much electro.
Really?
You know, yeah,
that's good.
Which I think is good. I think it's healthy, especially because it's like when drum and bass was at its peak and they used to stick garage in the back room.
Right.
And then garage started to have its day.
Yeah.
Because of all the support it was gaining from the drum and bass crowd. Right. So, I mean, I kind of see that with electro.
I hope it happens like that. It would be
Techno's a titan.
Yeah.
But, you know, it has access to a massive market. So
electro's always been a very close cousin to techno. I mean, electro's really come first, you know.
Oh, definitely.
It's the birthplace, really. I mean,
yeah.
Electro was there, but yeah, it's always kind of not given as much exposure as everything else. It's always been one of those genres, isn't it? It's always been there. It never disappeared for the people who are big fans of it, like myself. But it's always been bubbling under. It never disappears,
right?
But it's coming back. If I say coming back, from where? But it's definitely getting.
It's just getting
more interest,
more attention.
Yeah, which is good. I'm glad. I just hope people who have stuck with it for a long time get their day as well.
Yeah,
there's some great artists out there. Some brilliant.
Yeah, rather than a bunch of techno producers.
Yeah, exactly. Just jumping on it and doing their thing with it, and then it dies again. And I mean, electro will always continue. There are too many people. It's just it is their life. Like myself, that's what we want. That's what we love, and that's what we're always going to do.
Right. Well, where would you see? Where would you see? It's kind of where would you see the sort of the main popularity
of electro?
Yeah.
What, in country-wise?
Yeah, countries, cities.
Never really. I mean, Florida's always been a big place for it. Florida's always had that.
I suppose it's a bass scene, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always been tied in with the bass sound as well, and that's huge. I mean, that's even spilled into like pop music now, bass music, isn't it?
Yeah,
you got Jealous J, who was an old Miami bass artist on Cut It Up Def Records, who actually did stuff with Dynamics 2 Records, which I used to be on. He is now known as Jim Johnson, and he produces. What's her name? I can't remember her name because I'm not into that pop music.
Right.
I can't even think of her name. Massive pop star. Really commercial.
Katy Perry?
No, but on that sort of tip.
Taylor Swift?
No.
I'll have
to look it up on Google.
Yeah, you Google it.
Yeah, I will. But yeah, I mean, he's a bass head. I mean, that's what he did, and he was. I mean, I loved his music. I've got lots of stuff by him. He's known as Jealous J, Jim Sheffer, but he calls himself Jim Johnson. Here we go. I love Google. So he produces. God, that's not who I was thinking of. Well, Nelly, Usher.
Oh wow.
Eminem. I didn't even know he did that. Well, loads of people, but it's not the person I was thinking of. I'll have to come back to it because obviously I'm just going to sit on my phone otherwise.
Okay, yeah, we've found it.
Yeah. Anyway, him, but that you hear all that sound.
Yeah.
The 808 kick drum booming.
Yeah.
And just pop music now. I mean, it's in that hip hop sort of sound.
It's definitely connected with hip hop. I mean, especially the 808, kind of that big.
That's that whole sound, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I love the 808. I think it was probably the 808 that my ears pricked up to originally in the first place.
Right.
Just hearing, I'm thinking, what the hell is that? It doesn't sound like drums. I mean, it's a version of drums, but it doesn't sound like real drums. But that was what was pleasing to me. That's what I loved about it.
It's because you can do so much to individual sounds.
Yeah, and it just sounded so weird and clean and round. It always sounds very round to me, the 808. The congas sound like little balls, and the 808 drum, the kick, it's very round. Everything sounds round. The cowbell sounds, I don't know. It's all very clean and...
That's probably why you can fit so much in the grooves, because they just kind of slot in, whereas they don't.
It always sounds good.
Yeah.
It always sounds good.
I find it easier to mix anything with like electro style sound because they're obviously cleaner.
Yeah.
Whereas I spend a lot of time trying to clean my sounds up.
Yeah.
Right, when I'm just sampling bits and playing stuff in. I tend to add my own sort of distortion and kind of mess it up and then spend the whole session trying to clean up tracks that I've made dirty.
Really? Yeah, that could be a pain. I mean, I work with the 808 predominantly, obviously. It's kind of my drum kit of choice. But, I like to other things as well, but I always keep coming back to it. There's just something about it.
Yeah. Well,
it just fits electro perfectly as well. And I know, you shouldn't stick with one thing. And I do put other sounds in as well, but there's always going to be the underlying theme. There's going to be an 808 kick in there.
Right.
Just because it's so powerful, it's got so much bass in it, and it's even if I layer it with something else, there's just an 808 in there somewhere.
Right.
You know, it just the way it cuts through in the mix, I like. So, yeah.
Out of interest, what do you feel about like ghetto tech?
I never really got into it that much, you know, but I do like it. I quite like a bit of it, but I'm not an expert on it.
No, I was just interested if it sort of crossed paths.
Yeah, I remember listening to it. I remember going to nights and it'd be playing, and it's all
DJ Godfather.
Yeah, basically the
DJ
Assault. Those two guys. Yeah, ones. I heard DJ Godfather is coming back with his label. I think Database.
Database.
Yeah, he's that's all coming back with a force apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was something an EPM mail out. They were talking about them, and it was. I was thinking, because I was thinking about doing something. I won't mention what it is actually. I'm trying to keep it under wraps. But I was thinking about approaching him with this idea.
Oh, okay.
So maybe when I get round to finishing that little thing, it might be something I might want to send to him. But I'm not going to say any more on that one. Actually,
I mean, I've always found it quite interesting. I saw DJ. Saw Godfather while I was out in San Francisco. I was with some friends and they wanted to go and see him, and I was there for the week, so we went to go and see him. I spoke to him after, and I said,
it's Brian, isn't it?
Yeah. And I said, how would you describe the music? And he goes, I would just call it the fast shit.
That's it.
And it was really fast.
Yeah. What tempos are we talking there?
Oh man, it was 140 plus. Yeah, it was all up there. I mean, anything over 136 sounds fast to me.
Yeah.
But damn, it was.
I think he used to play quite a lot of strip clubs, didn't he?
Well, that was the story behind it. That the music was actually, they were DJing and they would just start making music for the strippers to sort of shake to. Do you know what I mean? Because, to get the tempo up, so they would just
twerking.
Early twerking basically.
Yeah.
And to get all the strippers. So it kind of got the tag strippers music.
That's right. Because I actually remember meeting him a long time ago. I think Oliver Way from EPM, Oliver Way, and that.
No,
yeah, right.
No.
He introduced me years ago at a gig we were playing at. I think it was in Holland or something, or Belgium maybe, and got introduced to Brian there, and we were talking. Apparently, he used to work with Two Live Crew as well.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
That whole ghetto tech thing. It is a version, a sped up version of Two Live Crew. Profanity and
there was a lot of swearing,
shake your booty and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so that's where he's coming from, and he's evolved that sound into a faster, sort of more Detroit based.
Yeah, there's actually a really good documentary about ghetto tech.
Is there?
And I can't remember a name of it.
I'll have to.
I'm going back 10 years when I saw it, but there's a documentary about ghetto tech knocking on the internet. I'm sure you'll be able to find it on YouTube or something.
YouTube it, I'd like to see that. Actually.
And they were talking to all the different people making the music. It was predominantly Detroit at the time, but they were just sort of describing what it was. And I think there was a big part of it was that they were interviewing all the DJs at a strip club, but in the day. And it was
they just hang out there all the time.
It looked really rough.
Yeah, I bet.
It didn't
I'd like
look
to
good.
see that. Yeah, that sounds good.
But ghetto tech again. It's another sort of subgenre of electro that's taken root.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got the bass. It's got its base in electro.
Yeah,
and it's come from there. Definitely. Yeah, branched out.
Yeah, I mean, I was very very impressed. So, I mean, we got talking a few weeks back. What it was is I saw you post something, and it's a new track.
Oh, the Model Citizens album track.
It was out. I didn't. I just sent you a message straight away.
Yeah, it was quite funny, actually.
Actually, it wasn't the track. You posted something and you said, "Why are all my fans mental?" I was like,
oh, yeah.
Or why do I only have crazies that follow me? And I hit you up and went, "I hope you're not talking about me."
No, this was someone else. I've got a few people like that I've had over the
years.
So
what was the story behind it?
There's a guy on Facebook that keeps sending me the most weirdest messages, and he's the devil or something, and I need to.
He thinks he's the devil.
Yeah, or he could go on about being the beast and stuff like that. I won't say his name. He does music as well, which is weird, and he sent me something about he wants me to listen to. I haven't got around to that yet, but I kind of tend to not delete these people or block them because I kind of find it entertaining, even though it's just weird. I mean, I'm like, telling him it was just like, what are you talking about, mate? And fuck off, you god botherer, and all that sort of business. But I've got to be saved apparently. I think my posts are annoying him, but yeah, it was very weird, and that's why I posted that. I think I was a little bit drunk at the time because I was working. We were finishing the last track for the Model Citizens album, which I posted the video up afterwards.
Right, that was. That was after us.
Yeah, and then you called me. I think
I
was a little bit tipsy at that point, and I was just when I was getting a little bit drunk, I was just like, I thought I was just going to put that up there because I think he'd sent me something,
funny.
and
he
sends me little weird messages as well on the phone, and he's
talking.
got
your number.
Well, no, through the Facebook.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and I'm so and so, and I was like, what the hell? He might be listening to this actually when it comes out. So you're a strange guy, mate. Really.
Yeah. Can we name check him?
Nah.
No, all right. Yeah.
But it was weird. I don't know him. I don't know who he is. He's from Vegas.
Okay.
But it was strange. So that's what I was saying. But
the funny thing about that is that you kind of go, I want to delete them. Or I want to block them.
Yeah.
Then in the back of your head, you're going, there's a bit of entertainment value attached to this. I don't want to quite get rid of it.
Yeah, I've had a few. I had one guy, poor guy, he ended up getting sectioned. He came over here from some other country. And
oh, really?
Yeah. I won't want to say too much. And then he was sending me messages on that. He thought he was a robot. He was sending me videos of him talking like a robot, thinking he was a robot.
He thought he was a robot.
Yeah. I think he got better. I think he.
Well, I hope he got better.
I think he got better, but I was like, yeah, he was like, he thought I understand because I'm a robot.
Okay.
Because I do a lot of robot music. I guess that was the connection, but yeah, it was kind of.
That's hilarious.
It was quite funny, and but I didn't have the heart to be like, look, man, leave me alone or anything, because it's kind of. I felt it was harmless, and it was all right. My wife was a little bit more concerned than I was, but I was like, no, I think it's all right. And I kind of didn't want to be too cruel, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, he thought he was a robot, and I thought I was a robot.
I mean, how do you even approach that conversation?
Yeah, it was kind of strange, but I thought I've kind of dug my own hole there, really, because of the music I make. It's always been very robot themed, so maybe people do think I'm a robot.
Well, I mean, that just kind of shows the success. I mean, it's working.
Yeah, maybe I should have done this whole interview through the vocoder, Mark.
Yeah, it's not too late.
He'd love that. Yeah, go and plug it in. Yeah, so that was strange, but yeah, he gets a mention there. I can't remember what his name was. That guy. I think he's changed his name since on Facebook, maybe. But I think he's well again.
Well, I would imagine he'll be listening to him. So hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hope you're feeling better.
I hope you're well. Yeah.
So like you mentioned, you posted a bit of music. It was.
Our friends Electro.
Yeah,
Gary Newman ripoff.
You sent it to me, cracking.
You like that one?
Yeah.
I'm glad you like that.
God,
yeah. That's the title track actually for the album.
I mean, I would, listening to it, I would be shocked if you had another title track, because that was fantastic.
There's some good ones on that album, actually. Yeah, we've got some blinders. I will say so myself. It's been a long time in the making. I do that with my brother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
That's Matt Whitehead, and he does a lot of really authentic acid house. Great electro as well. A lot of stuff on a label called Cultivated Electronics, which is Phil Bolland's label, which is a great label, doing really well. We did an EP probably about 4 years ago now, and that was really well received. And then it was like, right, we've got to do an album. But it's been getting me and him in the studio at the same time is kind of, we kind of always sort of miss each other, and he's usually busy doing other things. So I said to him, look, I've got another baby on the way in the next few weeks. We've got to get this done now. We've got to wrap this project up.
Right.
And so I got him over, and that was it. We got on the beers and finally got it done. And like I've sent it to you now. That album's out. Well, coming out hopefully soon. I've sent it out to a few labels. I've got a couple who are interested already.
Fantastic.
So that's coming up. But there's some good ones on there. In fact, I'll send you a link. I'll send you the whole thing.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah,
great. But I loved the little clip anyway. I heard it and I was like, this is wicked. I've got to hear more of this.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's I'm really happy with it. Are
you singing on a lot of the songs?
Yeah, it's always me doing the vocals.
Okay.
Yeah. I like to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you go about writing lyrics? Is it
just pops into my head,
Really?
Just at weird times. I usually have an idea. It usually starts with a title.
Right, okay.
And then I sort of work with that, throw
work
few
your way
ideas
backwards.
in there. Yeah. I often do start with titles. I have lots of titles there sitting around and have ideas. And I haven't written any new lyrics for a while now. I think I've sort of caught up with all the things I had as backlog, so I need to start doing that again. But just have an idea and just work from there, really. And
wicked.
Yeah, and I tend to use the vocoder, not as much as I used to. There is vocoder in that one for the chorus, but we've used pitch shifters and distortion and everything on that one.
Okay.
But
it's always very robotic, electronic.
I know. I am. Yeah, I'm really from that ilk. I love that whole sort of sci-fi in music sort of thing. I've done other sort of things, but I mean, people do say I always go on about them, but I do, can't help it.
That's what you're into, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm into. But I've been trying to sort of move away from that a little bit more and do sort of different themes now. So I've done other tracks on, but they always have some sort of mystery or some sort of unknown sort of element to them, and that sort of so there are always sort of that sort
so
of.
You think it's just your personality coming out?
Yeah, it is. Apart the only time I've ever done anything different was the one I said earlier about the Kronos device, the kill switch thing, which went a bit political, which was completely different for me. But it was quite nice to get that sort of out of my system. Yeah, I think I want to do one about war soon, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's coming.
War thing. Yeah, maybe because I can feel it, yeah. But I don't know. I do sort of always go back to that. But that's what I love, so, that's why.
I mean, saying that, though, like the political landscape, worldwide, it's
fucked.
It's such a crazy thing to grasp.
Yeah.
That it is interesting, and it has got... You follow one bit and it kind of opens the door to something else. Like recently this week, they'd done all the investigations with Trump, and he turned around, he's with the president going, no, I don't think you've done it.
And then the next day...
he's going, I think I was misquoted. No, you weren't.
That's an absolute bonehead.
Absolute. But I mean, can't stand it's like a soap opera, isn't it?
It is. It's a joke, man. This is where we've evolved to this point in time now.
If you want to get another beer,
I will. I'll go and grab us another beer. But I mean, is this where we've come? Like, in this evolutionary part of our existence, we're at this point now. We're all fucking idiots, aren't we? Is it all just basically this whole sheen's come off humanity? We're all just a bunch of morons,
and we will accept.
Yeah,
even when they go.
You're being lied to blatantly in your face, and we're all just there going,
he's the best in some respect. It's like it's going back to that thing I was saying about like Facebook people. You go, I want to delete them, but I kind of want to see what else they're going to see.
This is the thing, you see, you can't be in your little bubble. I've had to block 2 people in the whole. I've been on there for like 11 years now, and it's crazy. The whole thing's crazy, but I've had to block 2 people, and that's it. And I don't like to do it.
But that was just becomes abusive.
Yeah, it was just
it oversteps
too much.
Him
Yeah, and that was pretty much where it was getting. One guy was just abusive, and the other guy was just too much. Just wouldn't listen.
Right.
And but no, I try and keep everyone on there, even if it's people I disagree with, because even though I might have a bit of banter with them, then I might be a bit rude with them as well. Either way, but it's like you got to keep people on there. You got to see what else is going on, haven't you?
Well, I mean, that's the thing with...
To an extent.
To an extent.
So if it bothers you, then
But that's how I see Trump.
Yeah,
that's
how
I view Trump.
Yeah.
I kind of go, oh, he's an idiot. And then I think, well, if you get rid of him, then...
But who's pulling the string? This is the thing, and he is a distraction. This is it.
Yeah.
All the stuff that's going on while we're listening to the latest crap that he's come out with and the latest thing that's in the news about him, and we're just like, oh, the guy's a moron. What an idiot. I can't believe this guy's the president. But there's all this other stuff getting pushed through all the time behind it. And it's shocking that this is going on. It's shocking that we've got to this point.
the right hand moving while the left hand's actually doing something.
It's like he's come along, he's got in, and these people are like, well, great, what a distraction. While he's doing that, we're doing this. But it's at the end of it, it's so damaging. Everything that's happened here, it's just so damaging to everything. It's damaging to America, it's damaging to us, it's damaging to the whole world. And it just depresses me. But at the same time, I just laugh at the guy and just think, you are an absolute cock.
I just love... there's one thing I love about Trump. I love the brazen... Because there's so many things he does. There's so many things he does that other presidents would have been impeached for a long time ago. But he gets away with it because he'd go, no, I didn't say that. And it'd be like black and white. Go, no, you said it yesterday.
I know.
No, I didn't.
I know. I despair, but at the same time, I just laugh. But I laugh in a sort of way. I'm almost like crying at like, what the hell?
It is roll your eyes. It
is, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Shocking. I mean, they'll be writing about this in history books if we make it as a species, that is. But I mean, if we get past this, like 100 years from now, this era. Like,
It's going
what
to be
the fuck
brilliant.
happened?
When people are historians are
Yeah.
explaining what's
Yeah,
happening
how
now
this
to,
happened, yeah.
to kids at school, they're
Yeah.
going to go, but why? What,
Yeah,
why?
exactly.
Yeah.
This is like the dumbest part of our evolution.
Yeah, but
This is
good
it.
inspiration for music.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Maybe we
You
should.
know,
Yeah. Somebody
yeah.
should do a Trump record.
Can't really knock it.
I should sample him, but I just can't. I can't even stand the sound of his voice. This is the thing. I wouldn't be able to do it, but somebody should. It'll be fun.
But it's the repeating the same thing. It goes. If he says it twice, it means more. It's like, what?
You can't believe a word the guy says.
Nah.
He just changes like the weather.
Yeah, I mean, this week's been fantastic. 'Cause obviously, he's just come from the UK, and it was like,
I don't think I've
British
ever.
people love me. It's like we.
I don't think I've ever shared so many things on Facebook with him in it in my life as this whole weekend just gone by and what's been happening. I mean, I've just been posting everything because it's making me laugh, but at the same time, it's making me like go, what?
Yeah, I know.
I cannot believe it. Would you like a beer?
Yeah, I'll go for another beer.
Get you a beer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a podcast. It's not called Lowering the Tone for nothing.
Exactly. Let's get the vodka out.
That's right, shots.
Yeah, enough about Trump.
Yeah, enough
He just
about
wound
Trump.
me up.
So something else. I've scribbled a few notes.
Yeah.
Like I said to you beginning, so I didn't want to kind of have too many. I didn't want to have a questionnaire.
Yeah, if the conversation flow.
Just kind of wonder where we go. Something that was interesting is you've got to travel quite a lot through your music as well.
Yeah, I've got around. Not as much as yourself, though. I mean, you've been all over the place. Well,
yeah, done all right.
You've done all right. Yeah, I mean, you've done great actually.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Yeah, I've got about. It's always lovely. Mostly Europe though for me, and the States really.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I was sort of more welcomed.
What about the Far East?
No, never. Not for music. No.
Right. Because
No.
I would imagine like Japan would have been.
I would love to have played Japan.
Perfect.
Yeah, Japan does do electro as well. I mean, I've always wanted to play out there. I mean, Ed DMX used to go out there a bit. Some other people I know have played. Keith's played out there a bit as well when he was with Andy.
Two Lone Swordsmen definitely had a.
Yeah.
I mean, well, Andy Weatherall's got a kind of cult following anyway.
Yeah. He's got Sean Johnston with him now, isn't
That's
he?
right.
Yeah, I remember Sean.
And what's it? Something from Outer Space.
I can't remember. I don't know what they're called. I saw something come up with them the other day. They're doing something. It came up in my feed, and I was like, "Oh yeah, God, Sean's with him." Yeah, I can't remember what they're called now.
Yeah,
Keith used to travel a lot with Andy all over. I mean, I know they did Japan definitely.
Yeah, because I if I remember rightly.
You've done Japan, have you?
Yeah. I played it.
I've only been there on a holiday, like for a stopover. But I would love to go and gig out there. That would be one of my first places. If I could choose somewhere to go and play, Japan would be.
I mean, there's some good
top of
clubs.
the list.
There's some great. Very futuristic clubs.
Yeah.
The Womb in Techno.
Tokyo.
The Womb in Tokyo is
Yeah.
an absolute mine.
Is it?
It's got a phase-on sound system there,
Right.
and it's on hydraulics.
Really?
So when the night starts, the sound system gets lowered from the ceiling, to just above head height.
Excellent.
And then at the end of the night, when they cheer and they close and they put the lights on, the sound system packs itself away.
Really?
It's amazing.
Gotta love the Japanese, man.
Yeah.
The technology. It was Tokyo actually that I have visited, but I never got to go to a club while I was only out there for a couple of nights on the stopover. But I loved it. I would love to see more of that country. I really would. Actually, Lee Savage, obviously, he goes out there quite a bit.
Well, for anyone that's listening, anyone that's interested, one of our connections dates back to the Lee Savage who you've just mentioned.
Yeah, and I'd say that's probably our biggest connection there because of Nadia as well, who was his girlfriend at the time and you used to be in a band with.
Yeah. Nadia was the singer in my in my band.
Yeah.
And then Nadia went out with Keith.
Yeah.
After
that's
that.
It, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
But then Lee Savage was joined forces with Chris Hawkins, and my label before Lot 49. So we're going back. I was just a kid when I was running that. Yeah. But I had a label called Whole 9 Yards, and they used to record as Rhythm Division.
That's right. Yeah.
We released their first album on my little record label.
Yeah,
we only done records then. There wasn't digital downloads.
Yeah, brilliant.
And then, you're good friends with Lee.
Yeah, I see Lee quite a bit still, actually. Yeah, he lives just down the road.
Well, I went to school with Lee, and we used to bunk off school and go round his house, and he had a 303 and a drum machine. He had an 808 and a 303. We used to sit there, and he'd just program drums, and we just tweak acid.
Yeah, he loves acid. I mean, he was always doing that from when I first met him. He had the 303 and 808, a 101, 202.
Yeah, that's right.
He had a few little bits and pieces, and he would gig with his 808 and his 303 all over the place at one time, just doing little gigs all over the place with that.
That's right.
That was there. He used to get booked quite a bit doing that because he was a theatre teacher.
He was one of the theatre teachers.
Original theatre teacher, yeah. And he would DJ then for those parties we would do in the woods all over around Surrey. And they
were good times.
They were brilliant times.
Yeah.
They were excellent. I think the whole 91 was such a good year for those parties. Because we were getting away with murder in those days, and we were finding new venues all the time. Thousands of people were turning up at some of them.
Set up anywhere.
It was great, yeah. I mean, it was.
They rarely got stopped.
Occasionally, yeah. But if you get enough people in there,
to how many they would do.
Yeah, we'd do them every weekend at one point. We were doing them every weekend. We'd go find a venue. We found that one in East Horsley. Yeah. The one in East Horsley was a big one. That was a 3,000 people one.
That was a big one.
And that was the one that got stopped.
Right. Yeah.
The first one there. And they brought the riot police in and everything. But that one got mentioned all over Kiss and everything, and I think that's why. And after that, we still did East Horsley after that as well, and never had any problems. But
that one in
particular was the one that got.
I remember walking down the hill afterwards, and there was just as far as you could walk, there was riot police.
Yeah, and do you know who got beaten up?
Who?
Bill Brunner.
By
the riot police. Yeah, he got hit. Yeah, they started on him for some reason. I don't know why, but he got battered.
Oh wow!
Yeah, ask him about that if you speak to him.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. I mean, I do. We cross paths every now and then.
That he got hit. I can't remember why. He wasn't doing anything. I think somebody just didn't like the look of him and just hit him. One of the policemen, just gave him a battering. But that was the biggest one we did, and that was when it was all going crazy at that time. But yeah, after that there weren't as many people as that. But we carried on doing them. But then I think it was after that sort of year, maybe the next year we were doing them still as well. And then we took it into we had a venue in London, Longford Street. Did you ever go to that? Yeah.
Yes.
That really decrepit old building that felt like the floors were going to fall through.
And oh my God, that's a blast.
It was
from
next
the
to that
past.
church, and everyone used to go into the church. And that was crazy.
Well,
but it was never as good as the outdoor parties. The ones in the woods were always the best.
Well, I mean, there's something that's got to be said about being outside and seeing the sun come up.
Exactly. Building fires and just
sitting
doing
around.
what you want.
And you kind of, it's a little bit more organic meeting people, whereas it's just a little bit more dirty in a squat.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I always preferred the outdoors parties. Outdoor parties were the ones. I mean, if I could do I'm not that I'd go to those sort of things now, but when it all sort of moved into warehouses and squats and things like that, it was all right after a while. You had to be in the mood for it, but it never had the same vibe. It was all a bit dirty.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, you want to be outside. So whenever there was somebody did one outdoors, and they went on for the whole weekend, and that was great. I miss those times, actually.
There's something cool about being in like a
out
little
there
clearing
in nature
somewhere, and you see
with
people,
a sound system pounding away, going off foraging for wood in the middle of the night, like not even knowing where, bringing big branches of trees, throwing it on the fire. It's great fun. No, not to worry about anything. Just you just did what you wanted. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's less sort of safety issues as well compared to squats.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the places I remember going in, there was places
with
lift shafts open and people fell in and stuff like that in some of the places we would do gigs in. I mean, it's just terrible. Yeah, Longford Street. I mean, that place.
It's falling to bits.
It was falling to bits, and that was in the 90s. I think it's still there.
Really?
Yeah. But I remember people, you'd be on the bottom floor and the music would be on the floor above. And I swear that ceiling was going to come down.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dangerous.
Yeah.
It was very dangerous.
Yeah. Funny enough, from that same era, I was out in France a few years back, and I met the Spiral Tribe.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Ben knows Spiral.
Yeah. And I mean, got on really well. Funny enough, one of the guys, Cyrus, lives in Morocco now,
right?
And he wrote a book. Oh no, it's such a long title. I'm going to butcher it, but it's something about the Wu-Tang Clan, and it was last year it was on Rolling Stone's top 5 books of the year.
Really?
Yep. And he comes over a lot, and I'm going to interview him for this podcast. I mean, he's one of the sort of the original members, but also one of the people that would keep everyone together.
Yeah.
And he's got fantastic stories. Like, he interviewed me because he was doing this is like probably 6 or 7 years ago. He interviewed. He's a really good writer,
Right? Okay.
and he interviewed me for something or another, and we got chatting, and he just dropped it. He was like, "Oh, I was in Spiral Tribe." I was like, "What?"
Oh, right.
And then I met some of the other guys while I was in France, and they invited me to go and play at their party in Bristol. They'd done a big party at the Lakota. I mean, this is how popular. How long? I mean, we're talking, 20 years plus.
At least, yeah.
From when these guys were popular. They'd done a party at Lakota. They'd done 1,000 people, right? I arrived at 12 o'clock. They'd done 1,000 people. It was 1 in, 1 out at 12 o'clock. And they hadn't done any promotion.
Wow, yeah.
It was a word of
following,
mouth.
Yeah.
That's a serious...
Well, Ben McCusker knows the Spiral Tribe lot quite well.
Right.
Because he was always travelling around. He was doing his own little record distribution thing. He had his label. He would sell most of my records as well.
Oh, okay.
And he'd swap a lot with Spiral.
Oh, okay.
And they would just exchange records and then take them out to the technivals around wherever they would be playing and taking their sound systems to. And that's how that whole thing worked, But Ben was telling me stories about Spiral Tribe recently, actually. But he knows them really well. Well, and Brett obviously would have done too.
Yeah. One of our friends. Brett, do you want to say?
Brett Youngs, is no longer with us. 15 years ago. Yeah, that was very sad. He was kind of like you're saying with this guy from Spiral Tribe. He was like the main
keep it together.
Yeah, he was the keep it together guy. He would organise a lot of the parties. He kept in touch with everyone from the days of when the Fear Teachers started. He knew everyone. He was always in touch with everyone. He was a real personable person. Yeah, and really nice guy. And obviously, when he died, way before his time, it all kind of fell apart.
Right.
That where everyone was together doing something under one Dead Silence Syndicate, which was what he was, And once he died, it all kind of fragmented a bit.
Sort of disbanded.
And I was talking to Ben about him not too long ago because we lost another friend of ours very recently, and just talking about Brett came up and we were just chatting about him and how things would have been very different had he not died, when he did. Because he had lots of bigger plans and ideas, and he was a guy who could go out and organise stuff. Yeah. He was very much, that was his thing. He didn't make music. He didn't get involved now. He had the label he had Audio Illusion recordings with Ben, but he was a bit of an organiser. He would get things going and stuff, people excited about it, and he could talk it.
Well, that is it. You have it within a group of people. Everyone has different skills.
Definitely, and that was his skill. And
that's the sort of management without.
Yeah. I mean, it's so sad. I mean, what could have been, because he had lots of big plans for us all, and he wanted it all of us together to do it. We probably would have been doing a lot better than we did. But that's just how things go.
Life,
It is, It's just how it goes.
I mean, from that group of friends from early 90s, it has spawned a wealth of talent.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
how many people from around this little area?
Yeah, have gone on to
part
do
of Surrey.
Stuff. It's shocking.
And I do think about that sometimes. It's like, wow.
But I also think that one of the reasons was you had Fear Teachers, which kind of brought a lot of people together, brought a lot of...
there was so many friends at that point in time, wasn't there? Everyone knew everyone. It did bring a lot of people together.
And it kind of, I think for me personally, and I said this when I was talking to you, is that, you were the first person that I knew to have a proper record deal.
Really?
Yeah. Because, up to that point, I was in bands when you were going to Florida to work with Dynamite, Dynamite 2.
That's my dream. Yeah,
incredible. And I was, I was playing bass in a crappy band.
Was Jason O'Brien was in that band with you?
No, Jason was in another band called Strange Nature.
Oh, he was with Keith.
Yeah. Keith Tenniswood was the guitarist, and Jason O'Brien. Yeah. Jason O'Brien is the co-producer in Dub Pistols.
That's right.
For anyone that's interested.
I haven't seen him for ages. He's back in Weybridge now, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, I think. I heard a funny story. I do see Jason every now and then. But apparently he married a princess or something.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, in Bali or something.
In Bali.
Yeah, that's right. Because he had started a little DJ agency sort of thing as well, and he put me on it. For a bit, but nothing.
Bonkers.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. But I heard he'd moved back, but I don't know I haven't spoken to him properly for years. I mean, I think you know him a lot better than I do as well.
Yeah, I mean, I worked with Jason when I was signed to Wall of Sound.
Right, okay.
We used to do Ceasefire together with another guy called Derek DeLarge.
Oh, yeah. He's part of Dub Pistols.
No, that's Barry Ashworth you're thinking of.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But I mean, it was from that era.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of big beat era.
Yeah.
But me and Jason done some work together, and then we made an album for RNS Recordings under name.
RNS, yeah. I submitted that album to RNS, but I never heard back from him.
Oh, okay.
I never heard back from him, yeah. Because he was asking for some electro funk on one of his threads, and somebody tagged me in his post, and so I sent him some bits. And then it turns out that a remix of me and Cy Brown had done for Signal Type, which is on that Cultivated Electronics album, a label that I was mentioning, which is my brother-in-law and Phil Bolland. He wanted to release that on RNS.
Oh.
I didn't even know this at the time. This is like from, could be even 10 years ago, 8 years ago maybe.
Oh, okay.
I found out a few months ago that, he wanted to put that out. And I was like, nobody ever said that. I thought, I'll send him the album then, because I said, look, if you're into some electro funk, I'll send you this. But he's downloaded it, but I haven't heard back.
Oh, okay.
I guess it's not his thing.
I mean, I can connect you to Renat. I know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like I say, I only know him through Facebook. Just a couple of lines of chat on the messages. But
okay.
Yeah. Oh, mention it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's got very broad taste in music, and he seems to be DJing a lot now. He never used to, but I mean, he seems to be DJing a lot. Every time I open up Instagram, it's him in front of thousands of people somewhere. And I think he went on tour with Maceo Plex.
Right. Okay.
And obviously, so it's kind of ready-made audience.
Yeah.
Very popular.
It's good though. It's good work if you can get it.
That's it. That's it. So, just sort of going back a little bit, because I mean, what I found quite interesting was that there was like about the moment where Electro was kind of Weatherall was kind of he kind of unintentionally became a bit of a figurehead. Yeah, and that's when that was kind of like the big explosion of it again over here, especially. Yeah, because a Haywire agency. Haywire.
Yeah, where a lot of us were on.
Rotter's
Golf Club was his label. Yeah, that's right. So he was obviously on Warp with Keith as Two Lone Swordsmen, which is a great label to be on. Obviously,
right.
Great label to be on. And he had then started Rotter's Golf Club. I never put anything out. I did a remix or two, I think, for that label. But there was also Amanda Burton, who started Haywire, like a DJ agency, and she had a little label as well.
Okay.
And they had the shop, but it was all based in Scrutton Street in Shoreditch, Old Street area, and they had the studios they shared with Fuel Records. Remember Fuel?
That's right.
Yeah,
I know Dave Tipper.
It was a chance. So it was a chance meeting. I think Keith and Cy and that were all at something in Clapham, like a skate BMX thing, but it was also like a big sound system. Fuel had their cars there, which had the speakers that hydraulically came out the boots, and it would be blasting music. And I think Tipper was obviously DJing.
Well, Tipper got signed to Sony because they were hoping he would be the next Aphex Twin.
Oh, right, okay.
Which obviously didn't go to plan.
No, yeah.
At the time.
Is Tipper all right? Because I haven't heard from him.
He's doing really, really well in America. Okay. He lives in Hawaii now.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I heard he had like some health problems recently.
Back issues.
Yeah, there was something. Yeah. But I don't know Tipper that well, but funnily enough, I know him through his old neighbour as well, like a girl.
Yeah.
There's like a weird connection, but I bumped into him a couple of times on gigs in America, and we've been at the hotel and that.
Yeah.
But
he's doing really well now.
Excellent.
Because, I mean, he's considered the father of glitch hop.
Yeah.
The godfather.
What was the other guy's name as well, who he used to work with quite a bit? God, the name escapes me. I bumped into him the other day. Well, not to say the other day, a couple of years ago, but he lives over here still, and I can't remember his name. He does glitch as well, did glitch. I'm going to forget. I'll leave it. It's a weird tangent, but it was a friend of his I see around every now and then. But Fuel had the studio anyway in Scrutton Street. And then there was 2 rooms. Tipper had his studio in one, and then Two Lone Swordsmen, Keith and Andy, moved into the other one.
Right.
And then there was another room there, which is where Haywire was run out of.
Okay.
Which was Amanda Burton's agency, which had Keith and Andy on it, obviously myself, Simon, loads of other DJs and producers on there as well. And that was really good because once that we were all localised with that agency, they started getting loads of gigs for everyone. They were putting on nights all the time. Loads of things at the Fortress and
the Fortress.
Yeah, I love that place.
That's where I used to do my night at home.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's
the
amazing.
Rooftop bit and it was great, that place. All around they would do parties all around that area. And it was always, we'd go on Groove Tech as well.
Groove Tech?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we'd do Groove Tech. Did you ever do
Groove
Tech?
Yeah. I
So
played after Weatherall, actually.
Oh,
He was. I played the show after him. I was just doing it as a guest, but that's where I first met him.
Okay. Because I remember me, Keith and Si used to have a little, I think it was a Monday night, and it was after Alex Patterson from the Orb.
Yeah.
He would play before us, and then we'd go on. That was a good days, actually. I used to like that.
I mean, that was the first sort of major
Digital.
internet radio station.
So, yeah, that was all through Haywire. That was all a link up through Haywire.
Yeah, because they used to distribute records.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, they used to take quite a bit of my stuff there. I can't remember the guy's name now, but he came from another distributor and he went set up there. Yeah, that was a really good place. That was Shepherd's Bush way, wasn't it? Behind Shepherd's Bush,
like
White
that.
City, sort of
White
that
City,
area.
that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good little business template, really. Have a distribution company and have a 24-hour a day radio, like
cool.
internet radio station, because a lot the adverts would always be buy your records direct from the station.
Yeah,
you know?
it was great. I used to like that. That was Cy Brown used to always turn up completely trolleyed because in those days, well, Cy would go out on a Thursday, come home on a Monday, but we'd have the Monday night and he'd turn up with a bottle of Jack Daniels, like proper rock star style, really drunk, box of records, like. Rah. And
should have been the out of control tower.
Yeah, definitely the out of control tower. But yeah, those were the days for sure. But yeah, that was how it was. That was a good time for Electro because of Haywire pushing it. Andy Weatherall obviously being there as well, a big name.
Yeah.
Rick Hopkins, that was another guy who was on there with us. There was loads of people actually. It's hard to remember who everyone was, but that was when it was going really good. And when that went, because she opened a record shop in the basement there, or she moved it somewhere else. But it was appointment only, and I think it got her into a bit of difficulty financially.
Right.
Don't quote me on this, but it all sort of went, and it just sort of finished. It was really sad because it was a great collective of people.
Yeah.
And they were putting on great nights around London.
Yeah,
I mean,
Haywire
whenever a Haywire party was on,
yeah.
it was always rammed.
There was another one that done well as well, Wang. The Wang.
Oh, Wang. Well, Wang, Lou from Wang was Haywire. She was the booking agent.
Oh,
so that's how that's.
I didn't even know that.
Well, I think she had Wang going already at that time before, because looking back now, that's so far back, my timeline's a bit skewed. But Lou from Wang, who I still see actually, and Nathan, they're married now. They still do the odd thing, but not so much. But they would book Aphex Twin for Glastonbury and things like that.
Right.
They're still in touch with him. But yeah, they did Wang, but she was also the booking agent for Haywire at first, so she was really good.
Right.
But then she left and went to pursue her own things, and then somebody else took over. But yeah, she was there at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Lou was great. Lou was excellent at her job.
Well, we're
very good.
Piecing together the
there's all these
original
little connections.
UK electro scene.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that was. Yeah. I mean, it's a real shame that didn't continue because it was great for everyone involved. I mean, I loved it. There was always something to play at. They did the Bridge and Tunnel as well. I seem to remember that. There's Bridge and Tunnel on a Tuesday, which was just down the road. It's at Shoreditch area. And then you had the Fortress. And then they did another one as well. There was another club another venue they used to rent out and do a party there. And then they would do random ones in behind King's Cross Station and things.
Yeah.
Just random things as well. But the Fortress was one they would do quite regularly, I'm sure. And the Bridge and Tunnel, I'm sure there was another venue they used to do. So there's always everyone on the roster got to play every now and then round there.
Yeah.
So you always had a gig coming up every couple of months with them. And then everyone contacting Haywire. It was a great little hub for electro artists because people would come to Haywire to book you.
I got to be honest. I think it's good that agencies have really all you're talking about is their showcasing stuff. And
it needed that.
Yeah. I think all scenes need that, actually.
You need someone who's doing that for it, because otherwise it kind of doesn't really work, I don't think.
It needs like a social. It needs something where people, lovers of the sound, can gather.
Yeah. It was a real shame that it never continued. I think she did start it up again as something else with some other DJs on there, but a little bit sort of more low key, I think. But those were good times, definitely.
So what's the immediate plans
for me?
Yeah. I mean, obviously you're finishing this album and stuff.
Yeah, that's finished. I'm so glad that's wrapped up now.
How long did it take?
Well, it's like, me and Matt, we probably only meet maybe 3 times a year, 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's because he's always got little love projects on himself with other people as well, so it's trying to pin him down.
Right.
But last year was spent mostly remixing an Egyptian Lover track when we did meet up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll send you that as well. That's actually coming out on the album. It was meant to come out as a 12-inch with him on his label on Egyptian Empire, which we were really stoked about. And we're like, wow, we're coming on Egyptian Empire Records. But I kind of think that he's changed his mind on that, or he's put something else out instead. So I spoke to him actually just after I spoke to you.
All right, okay.
I sent him a message, said, look, are you okay? Because we just finished this album. Are you okay with us putting it out? If you're not going to put it out yourself now, are you okay with us putting it out on our album? And he was like, yeah, go for it, man. No problem at all. Which is really cool of him.
Really cool.
I said, look, just tell me exactly how you want it to read on the album, what you need it to say. And he just sent me what he needs it to say.
Wow.
Taken from and so that's coming out. Because we really went to town on it. We've spent a lot of time. We tweaked it a bit for him as well. Changed something he wanted changed on it. But because Matt and me rarely meet that often, it took like about 4 or so sessions to get it where it is, to finish it. But yeah, really pleased with the way that came out, and I'm glad that it is actually going to come out now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've ended up with a little gem on your own album.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been lovely to get something out on Egyptian Empire Records, because it's such a classic label, and it's one of the labels from my youth that obviously really influenced me.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe something else in the future with him. But I got to work with him before. Anyway, I've remixed him once before, and we did a collaboration. Me and Cy and him. He does a thing called Jamie Jupiter as well.
Okay.
And we co-produced that with him as well. So we've got little connections. He's a cool guy.
Yeah. This is your brother-in-law?
No, this is Greg Broussard,
Oh,
Egyptian
sorry,
Lover.
right,
Sorry,
right.
yeah. Sorry, was I rambling?
I was like, what?
Yeah, but no, my brother-in-law doesn't have. Oh, he does. No, he doesn't have a label. No, but
No.
but he's a great producer as well. Matt Whitehead, my brother-in-law. If you check some of his stuff,
I definitely.
He's really good. He's a perfectionist, definitely. Yeah.
So with this album, are you planning on live performance or are you going to DJ? Because I mean, you've done a lot of live.
See, but people like to book me for live. It's fair enough.
It's just a bit more novel, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, everyone DJs, don't they? And I suppose, I need to sort that out. Model Citizens live, I'm not sure. I don't know how we go about it. We'd have to figure it out if we were going to do it.
Right.
Because it's always a little bit more confusing. You've got 2 people doing stuff with.
I can't even do it on my own.
Really? See, I had it down on my own before with my old live set. I used to play from an MPC 2000 and just bring like an old Korg synth, and I'd have my vocoder through that.
Right.
But my new setup, which I've still got to sort out, I bought an MPC again. I've had it all kitted out. It looks like an 808. I'll show you it in a minute. Yeah. It's in there. It's a bit of a vanity project of mine, but I've got the old SVC Roland vocoder 350, which I use which is the best one for the sort of electro sounding robot voice. An old Pro 1 that I'd use as well, and I've got to really now sit in there for 1 or 2 days and just map out a whole new live set. All it takes is for me to go in there. I've got to maybe take a few of the old ones that I used to play live, some of the better stuff, and then put maybe 5 or 6 new ones in there. Get it in there, work it all out, because on the MPC it's not like on a computer. It's a little bit. You've got a tiny little screen.
Yeah,
you've got to set these things up. It's all program changes and MIDI changes to set the next track come in. You got to do all these things, and I know I can do it, but it's just boring. It's boring, and really, when I get the time to do that sort of stuff now, I tend to want to write new music. That's basically how it is. So when I get the time to do anything, it's like I want to be in the studio creating new stuff. I don't necessarily want to be in there fiddling around with old tracks, getting it working again so I can go out and play live. But I need to because I've got lots of offers. People want me to play live, so I should do it.
An album, it'd be a bit of a crime if you don't do some shows.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the thing is, I keep getting asked to go to play America as well, and I've had to turn it down twice last 2 years as well. And I do like going out there and playing. It'd be nice to catch up with some friends as well, but I just keep saying, look, I haven't done it yet. I'm really sorry, I haven't sorted it out yet. Right. And it's because I've had a kid and I've got another one coming.
You've got one on the
go. Whenever you do get the time, it's like I want to get these songs out of my head and I want to release music rather than backtrack over stuff and try and faff around with it.
Well, I guess there's plenty of time to actually go out and play, whereas trying to document that your inspiration comes in waves.
Exactly. You got to grab it when it's there, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, and the process of actually writing, recording, and releasing is quite a long process.
Oh God, yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It takes time,
especially when it's on your own label.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't even do.
Because you're doing all the paperwork and all the management of it, and
That's why I don't even do. Well, I had a release on my own label last year, but then I'd let a guy take over that for me. He does all the pressing.
Oh, okay.
Distribution and everything for me, sends me some copies. I get the digital. It's quite a nice little setup because he's into the label, so that's quite a nice way of doing it. So I get to have the label still, but I can't be bothered with sorting all the artwork out, doing it.
The outlay,
collecting the money in, getting a distributor. I mean, distributors now as well. It's hard, and I just I don't want to have that headache.
Yeah,
I've done enough of that. I've done my stint of that. I've put the work in there. And I've had enough of it, really. So. You know what it's like.
Oh, mate, yeah.
It's a hard slog, and really, I'd rather just concentrate on making music. That's where my love is. That's the passion is into writing new stuff, putting it out, and seeing what people think of it.
Well, no, absolutely. Right. Well, I mean, have you got anything more to add? Is there anything you need to talk about?
Well, maybe you should come down and join us on a session one day.
I'd love to.
We've got that resonance committee thing, which is me, Keith Tenniswood, Cy Brown, Matt Whitehead, and also now Phil Bollins joining us. But it's like a collective of us.
Man. Definitely.
We just go in the studio, Keith's studio where he works. It's Curved, which has just moved to Hastings now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and Keith's just moved to Hastings as well. So
okay, cool.
So what we do is we've kind of I come up with this idea of it's a committee, and as long as there's 2 of the original members, the original 4, it can be a resonance committee release.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so it's just it can fluctuate. So we don't always have to be there. So at least there's 2 of us, and then anyone wants to come in from anywhere. We just go in and take the studio for a day, get a few beers in,
knock some stuff
out, and record it. We tend to jam live for a bit and then take bits out of it, and that's it. We meet twice a year. That's kind of.
That sounds amazing. Yeah,
it's quite good.
Really good.
So if you're up for it, I mean,
definitely.
they're just building the studio. I think now. They've just moved down, I think, last weekend.
Is he still doing some mastering? Is it?
Yeah, he does the mastering there as well. So he's a studio engineer and does the mastering too.
Okay, cool.
So, but we get a good rate on it because he's works there. So we just take it out usually on a Saturday.
Oh, wicked!
And it's good fun. We all go in there, cram ourselves in there, get the drinks going, and just see what happens.
See what comes up.
Yeah, and it's a good way of doing stuff.
That's a really good way of doing it.
Yeah,
it's very honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always great. Some things come and they'll be like, "Nah, that wasn't very good, was it?" But
I mean, you don't have to release it though.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We put out the 12 last. No, it's this year, I think. And we've got another thing. We've just some new ones. We've just started with Phil coming in as well. Matt wasn't in for that one. But, it's like I say, you don't have to be there. Everybody, you just come in and do a track and leave. And
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely.
But,
mention it to the boys.
I will,
definitely.
That'd be good to get you down there.
Definitely give out for a go. Yeah. I mean, how bad can it be?
Exactly. Well, it could get bad. It could get very messy. It has done in the past, which is why we don't put out that much. It gets recorded, but, but it's all good fun.
Right. Well, listen, before we finish... Can I get some stings for you?
Yeah.
For me?
Yeah. Okay.
Can I get some stings for
me?
Of course. And it's just, this is Phil Klein, aka Bass Junkie. You're listening to Lowering the Tone with Meet Katie. Anything along that lines.
Okay.
Or even this is Bass Junkie, you're listening to Lowering the Tone. You just...
Okay. This is Bass Junkie, you're listening to Lowering the Tone with Meet Katie. This is Phil Klein, also known as Bass Junkie. You're listening to Lowering the Tone with Meet Katie. I think the first one was the best one.
That's it.
Yeah.
We use it.
Brilliant.
Anyway, thanks for your time,
Mate.
Phil. And it's lovely seeing you.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a pleasure.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. Episode 25, done and dusted. If you like the show, you like the music and the interviews, please share the link, spread the word, spread the love, do whatever you can. I think that is it. Bye.
I'm on my last trip. Feet together, hold my sides up before my head slips. I'm drawing lines and markers, now I'm feeling with my eyelids. And even till this day I see her. On my last trip, he sees me, he's gaining close, so deep, mind's been too keen to know. I guess he feels me now. So far, I've not looked down. I'm on my last trip. Feet together, hold my sides up before my head slips. I'm drawing lines and markers, now I'm feeling with my eyelids. And even till this day I see her. I'm on my last trip. For a single word could save me now, but a smaller chest won't even make my sound flow out. I'm on my last trip. Feet together, hold my sides up before my head splits. I'm drawing lines and markers, now I'm feeling with my eyelids.